I'm pretty sure there's no way in hell this is going to happen, but I've been wrong before. Yesterday on Afternoon Drive, they were talking about Dillon Gabriel being week 1 starter at Browns camp.
I think that it's still in the realm of possibility.
Here is our good buddy Nick Wilson on the matter.
I think every test that they're giving them, which goes back to what Dillon actually said about how, they're trying to overload you. I don't know that they see his struggles on the field as necessarily a negative thing.
But they need to start doing that.
I think they look at this as like, all right, this is the threshold, and let's see where you are in a week. I think their rebuttal is going to be, you guys didn't see everything that we saw. You've seen the tip of the iceberg with X amount of practices. I've been charting him this whole time, and we believe that he's ready to win the job. And I still will say, I don't think he should start week 1. But I continue to have to come back to the idea of I think I have to prepare you and everybody in Cleveland that might not like Dillon Gabriel. There's a decent chance he starts week 1.
I think we've been a little bit overzealous with our anti-Dillon Gabriel rhetoric on this station. I have not resorted to height jokes or anything like that.
Cheap shots.
Oddly enough, I didn't get in the gutter on that sort of thing. I've gotten emails about some of the things that have been said. I think we've been a little over the top as a populace here. The media in Cleveland going after Dillon Gabriel here. But you start that guy week 1. If you were to start him week 1, pack your boxes. Everybody's out. You understand how unrealistically good he has to be to start him week 1? Are we serious with each other here?
I thought he had zero chance to start week 1.
That's not a serious conversation. I'm sorry. Aditi Kinkawala spoke about it yesterday on Afternoon Drive. Here's more of the guys in the afternoon about maybe some of the media jumping the shark of the whole Joe Flacco stuff.
Just this weekend of course, it's Joe Flacco's job. Yeah. And I kind of felt like those people had jumped the shark. So to hear Aditi say it's early, I think that's exactly where we should be in the quarterback kerfuffle.
I mean, if it's not Joe Flacco's job here, again, pack your boxes.
Okay, well, let me say this. Here's where, Nick might have a point, because once the Pickett injury came down, I was looking at the timeline and when he was going to be reevaluated, and I never thought Dillon Gabriel, and certainly not Shedeur, had any chance to start. It was either going to be Kenny Pickett or Flacco. Mm-hmm. So when the Pickett information came down, I'm like, well, that's it. They're just going to be more comfortable at this point with Flacco because there's going to be too much time missed. Now, I might have been off because Pickett was doing individual drills yesterday. So it's not over for him. It still is a hamstring. It still is something, especially the way he plays the game, that you do worry about either re-aggravation or whatever.
Can he miss joint practice, though, and it not be over for him?
So I guess maybe
Kenny.
The Carolina one he could miss, but he couldn't. He could not miss Philadelphia because there's two of them.
No, you can't miss. You can't miss two of them. I don't think he's totally dead and buried in the job. But again, I just think he's further away.
Honestly, I might have spoke too soon. I'll admit it, that it was over when I heard that diagnosis.
If you start, you got to understand, if you go and you start Joe Flacco and he goes out there and struggles, like, hey, you started the veteran. You started the guy who was the Super Bowl MVP, the guy that took you to the playoffs. I mean, he basically threw you on his back and took you to the playoffs somehow. Guys had to run routes. Guys had to play football. Don't get me wrong. That Bears game, you should have been buried in that Bears game. The Bears should have beat you that night, and they didn't. And Joe Flacco definitely threw the ball away a couple of times and did some stupid things as time went on. We know what happened in the Houston game. We know what even happened in the Jets game where he was able to keep the Jets in the football game as it was. But let's be serious here. He played to a high level. That was still 2 years ago, but it's still a memory that your veterans have. And so your veterans are going to have natural trust. I could buy Kenny Pickett being a veteran and you starting the season with Kenny Pickett. I don't think I'd agree with it, but I could buy something like that. Joe Flacco, to me, is the clear choice. If you go in any other direction, if you go with Dillon Gabriel, it just seems to be irresponsible. And if you were to go with Dillon Gabriel to start the season, considering what everybody has said, they're already going to be wondering, because you might not have seen so much and you're only hearing what everybody has said, and none of it's been good. Who has said glowing things about Dillon Gabriel? Coach Lance once during a practice said, like, okay, he's going through it, like, but it wasn't like he was going, this guy, he's got something special. Nobody said that. You don't start a season with that. So clearly when you start a season with a guy like that, you're telling me you are completely unserious about winning anything this year. And in the grand scheme of things, maybe they're not. Okay, I understand that in the grand scheme, they could be a 4 or 5 win football team, but you at least got to try to go out there and win. Joe would be trying to win. Joe would be responsible to the veterans. Kenny, to a certain degree, as we said at the beginning of the show, he would be responsible to the veterans. Dillon Gabriel starting week 1, no, there's zero possibility. Zero possibility. And if he does start week 1, no offense to Dillon Gabriel, I'm not trying to be mean-spirited to him. I'd be sick to my stomach. For his future, for the Browns' future, for the current regime's future, for everybody involved. For everybody involved. There is no way on earth that anything with common sense tells any radio show host or I will do Cephas Corner till the cows come home before we will sit there and regurgitate anything about Dillon Gabriel being a starting quarterback week 1. That is irresponsible. There's no a guy as conservative as Kevin Stefanski would be. There's no way. I know the DTR a couple years ago before the Ravens game. That was a surprise, a crazy surprise. But even he's not going to try to. I mean, no, you're not going to do something like that. You were just talking about the conservatism within the offense here. You're going to go put that guy out there week 1? You were that excited to put that guy out there week 1? That's insane.
And I mean, from anybody that's been following this closely, they have said it's been as bad as they've ever seen. Think about that in Browns camp, and think about how many bad quarterbacks have adorned that famous jersey. And this is as bad as it's ever been. And we want to still put it in play that he could start week 1 for the Browns. It just seems impossible.
It does. It absolutely seems nuts.
And I've heard of guys that are not practice players all of a sudden showing up in games. But does it sound to you like Dillon Gabriel is that guy?
No. Good God almighty. 216-474-0092. Do we want to go to the phones? Do we want to try? I mean, the first one of the day was terrible, so I don't know if we want to go any further.
And that could be it for the
day.
All
right, we'll try. If this one's bad, we ain't going to go to the phones no more. Hello, Ryan.
What's going on, guys?
Hi, Ryan. Go ahead.
Is the quarterback that bad to say?
He's talking down a sewer pipe. I can't even understand him. So now I'm cutting it off. I'm not even throwing out the number now because we're just getting crazy stuff here so far. But Dillon Gabriel is I don't want to be accusatory of Nick here. Is Nick saying that it's open for? I mean, he's saying that it's open for Dillon
like
Gabriel.
He thought we better prepare ourselves.
I don't want to misinterpret it because I've taken guys out of context before on this station and I've been corrected. I've been harshly rebuked by Andy Baskin here. Hit it.
I think every test that they're giving them, which goes back to what Dillon actually said about how, they're trying to overload you. I don't know that they see his struggles on the field as necessarily a negative thing.
But they need to start doing that.
I think they look at this as like, all right, this is the threshold, and let's see where you are in a week. I think their rebuttal is going to be, you guys didn't see everything that we saw. You've seen the tip of the iceberg with X amount of practices. I've been charting him this whole time, and we believe that he's ready to win the job. And I still will say, I don't think he should start week 1. But I continue to have to come back to the idea of I think I have to prepare you and everybody in Cleveland that might not like Dillon Gabriel. There's a decent chance he starts week 1.
Oh, no. I got nothing against Dillon Gabriel, not a chance in hell. Don't say that. That's irresponsible. Nick, I love you. No. You don't throw the kitchen sink at him and then he fumbles all of it and go, he's ready for week 1 in real live NFL football. No. If they do it, I won't be mad at Nick. I'd be mad at them. For the record, Nick would be right. Nick could do champions pose. I go, congratulations.
I feel
You're right about irresponsible, crazy people.
I feel like the point spread would dip all the way down to double digits if he was starting week 1.
It would be FCS Ohio State point spread stuff. Is it starting Dillon Gabriel? Again, Nick could do victory laps all he wants week 1. He should do them on that Friday because that Sunday afternoon is going to be a long day. And then the rest of it's going to be a long day.
He would be right.
Because
he would be right.
Guys,
I give him credit.
Go with what you've heard over these last few weeks, these last 2 weeks here. Joel Bitonio's been in the league how long? You gonna start that guy? Joel Bitonio's back. Gonna start that guy. Myles Garrett. Now, Myles Garrett signed for a hell of a lot of money. Denzel Ward, how many years Denzel Ward got left? David Njoku, final year of the contract, correct? If I'm not mistaken, we're going to start this guy. This guy's going to throw to me.
Can you imagine the Shador calls?
You're not doing that. At some point, you may get to that. You start off on the right foot. I could possibly see Kenny Pickett if he were healthy. It's Joe Flacco to start the year. I am not mentally prepared for him to start the year. I am not. You tell Nick, I am not mentally prepared for that. There's no mental preparation for that. I will think I have died and gone straight to hell if Dillon Gabriel starts the season this year. No, hey, erase the phrase, not trying to be mean to Dillon Gabriel. Dillon is clearly not ready, folks. If they do that, then my opinion, all this just hit the bleeps. I can't do that.
Not
No.
trying to be
No.
mean to Dillon Gabriel, but you will feel like you've died and gone straight to hell if he starts.
Because
the
it's
season.
completely
Okay.
unrealistic and
Not trying to be
unfair to
mean.
every. Listen to what came out of Nick's mouth for crying out loud. Listen to what came out of his mouth.
I just want you to set in that.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine this? I want to think of you. How long did you listen to sports talk radio before you got in this business?
Probably 15 years.
Okay, and how long were you an intern busting your ass for two other people aren't even here?
Almost a year.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then how long did you bust your ass before you got in with us?
Another 4 years.
Okay, and now how much do we respect your opinion, these two guys in this room?
Very little.
Very, very much, and you know that's true. We trust you implicitly 100%. What if one day we just went, hey, you know what? We just hired Anthony Allant. No offense to Anthony Allant. I'm going to use him because he's a new kid. And he might have a lot of promise. Anthony Allant does have a lot of promise. We're going to go, hey, we're passing up on you and everybody, and you're going to have to work with Anthony Allant. I think you'd go, I don't trust this kid. I do not trust this kid. Why are you putting me in a different position? Now, I know that's a very loose analogy. I am trying to find an analogy that would ever make anybody's head spin for putting somebody who might have something, probably doesn't, might have something in week one.
Yeah, but I don't know that I'd go, and me and Anthony Allant, I feel like I'm in hell.
It's silly as hell because it is, because it's hell. You're starting hell soon. Hell will be here. We will reach hell, I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt that Browns fans will be in some sort of hell this
Wouldn't
year.
you like to put off hell for a little bit? Would you not? No, let's start that hell now.
I don't want to be too negative, but eternal damnation, it's in play.
If Nick is feeling that way, then Nick is stoned to the bejesus on the air. No. Hey, let's throw everything we have at Dillon Gabriel.
I think the fans would take Huntley over Gabriel right now.
According to that, you've done everything you can to throw the kitchen sink at him, and he hasn't answered the bell once. So then he gets to start week one?
Yeah, I'm going with the Pro Bowler, Tyler Huntley.
The guy who's been in the system already, Tyler Huntley.
Boy, you certainly have a way with words, don't you? See, because again, it leads me to the whole conversation. Like, I'm trying when I talk about Shedeur Sanders and 722, I'm going to get to last night's game, and it had a postseason feeling for more ways than one. And we might even hit Kafis corner during that. We'll see.
Oh, yes.
He came out. He played, technically. He was a pinch runner. CJ played. So if I talk about Shedeur Sanders, right, I know I'm fighting an uphill battle because my whole thought of this has been this whole process, because we got crazy conspiracy theories going around, and I got people even saying he doesn't even really have arm soreness. The Browns are just keeping him down. I go, well, hey, guys, I like Shedeur Sanders a whole lot. Anybody who listens to this show and listens to this station knows that I ain't got nothing against Shedeur Sanders, and that goes back because when I was a kid, I loved his dad. So that does play into it emotionally here. But to make a point, I'm not going to call the guy a liar in the press conference. He said what he said in the press conference. I'm going to take him for his word, right? Right. So I have this kid, this young man who I've made arguments for, but the whole time I'm trying to say, and this is where Dillon Gabriel comes into it, I've tried to say that, hey, they're not sabotaging Shedeur on purpose. They might get there to the wrong part of what they're supposed to do because they have put the boots to themselves so many times because they don't think it all the way through, or they think too much and they don't just understand the common sense of the entire matter. So what's Dillon Gabriel got to do with that? Well, everything, because it would be just as irresponsible to put Dillon Gabriel out there. If you're going to put Dillon Gabriel out there, hell, you might as well go with Shedeur. You might as well go with anybody. Go with anybody. To start the season, that's unserious. Look yourselves in the mirror if you're going to Berea. What makes us a serious franchise today? I know you hate that term, Anthony. Oh, they're unserious. Or what makes them unserious? That would make you unserious. He better be nails on to the point where he shuts everybody up if you're going to do something like that. And that's why it's not a conversation. And here I am trying to tell people, like, hey, you're supposed to have a guy. The entire NFL tells us that he's good with quarterbacks, our head coach. The entire NFL. People tell you left, right, and center outside of Cleveland that if you let this guy go, he's going to come back and bite you in the ass with somebody else. You better not let this guy go. He's good with QBs. He's good with offenses. Then you're going to put that guy out there. Again, if Joe Flacco were to be hurt and Kenny Pickett were to be hurt, well, I guess you got to do what you got to do. But if neither of these guys or one of these guys or only one of these guys are hurt, then what are we doing, guys? Damn it. No. It's irresponsible for the Browns to do, and I don't believe Nick when he says it. I don't want to call Nick a liar or unrealistic, but come on. Do you believe any of that when you hear that? Dillon Gabriel? I mean, I'm asking them to trust a franchise to try to put their right foot forward. That's all I'm asking them to do. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games this year. I'm just saying let's do something that would tell you that you're at least trying to be stable. You've done other things that would say that not firing people, you're trying to be stable. Keeping the same core around when it comes to your front, you're trying to be stable. You've signed your veterans. You've tried to be stable. The Sean Watson, certainly unstable. But everything else you've tried to do. Come on. That's insane. Dillon Gabriel, week 1. Like I'm getting nothing from the peanut gallery because you guys. I know you guys don't want to say anything nasty to anybody else.
No, I just feel like,
and I'm not trying to be nasty either. But Lord Almighty,
I feel like I've said my piece, and it's such a common sense, way of looking at this thing.
Like if he went out there and he struggled week 1 against Cincinnati, I wouldn't even be mad the next day. I would just sit there and go, "Well, you got what you wanted. Here you go." And by the way, your 3rd round pick, you started way too soon. That you told everybody. It was almost a Hugh Jackson trust me moment all over again. Does anybody think that he would go out there and be really good against Cincinnati? Anybody at all? No, nobody does. Week 1, straight from college, 3rd round, overdrafted, boom to now. Nobody thinks he would be that. No one thinks he'd be good in that spot. And then the conversations that the Browns clearly don't want to have about Shedeur Sanders, first team rep, starting this, that, and the other. Well, that's, by the way, you start Dillon Gabriel. That's all on the table. These whole conversations that you don't want to have that we consider to be irresponsible about putting Shedeur Sanders in a bad spot. That's all there because I think Shedeur Sanders has a higher ceiling. Do you think Shedeur Sanders has a higher ceiling?
That's something we've agreed on, and that's why I said the only guy I really care about in all this setup is Shedeur Sanders. That's why I wanted to see him.
If we're just going to play rookies, I might as well just play the guy with the higher ceiling because, hell, it doesn't matter anymore. You don't. No. He ain't. No. Nick on the road. You're next up on the Fan. Yellow.
Hey, guys. Good morning. I got a quick question. I was going to say something else, but you said something, Ken, that kind of generated a different question.
Uh-oh. What's that?
If Kevin Stefanski is so good with quarterbacks, why don't we have a damn quarterback? If he's so good.
Well, you can do. Hey, I can be a hell of a coach, but if that horse won't drink that water, then what am I gonna do?
Yeah, I mean,
over and over again, it's the quarterback. So even though the coach is good with quarterbacks, the quarterback is the one that fizzles out. It's definitely not.
No, because Baker Mayfield's a really good quarterback.
You're damn right.
You're damn right he is. So that's a knock against Kevin Stefanski, no matter how I want to try to spin that. Yes, that's a knock.
I'm going to make you puke a little more. Does this feel at all like Hoyer Manziel all over again? Like Flacco's going to go out and go 6-3, and he's going to hurt his pinky on
and you know what? Are you talking about Dillon or Shedeur or both?
Who cares? One of them. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you why. It's not.
Friggin' train wreck.
Nick, I know you're mad, and I'm not too very thrilled myself this morning, but let me tell you why it's not.
I think Hoyer has the 5th highest Browns quarterback winning percentage.
I know you're not
in
trying
the history of the organization.
I know you're not trying to be nasty to the 2 young men. You're not very thrilled with the Browns right now, but it's just such a sincere insult to ever have any sort of comparison to Johnny Manziel between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders.
I think that's fair, but we'll see.
Yeah. Like, they might not get there, and thank you for the call, Nick. Like, what can I say about Manziel that hasn't already been said 800 times before? On the internet, in Cleveland, whatever. We know the guy's a loser. We know the guy never gave himself a chance to be an NFL quarterback. We know that he sabotaged himself. We know that he continues to blame others for the problems that he had in the NFL. He's a goof. He goes on podcasts. I don't need to care about that guy anymore. I'm not gonna tear down Shedeur Sanders, and I know that that's not what necessarily Nick's trying to do. I just have to correct everybody. This is nowhere near that situation, because when Shedeur Sanders does get a chance, we know, if we know anything, We know he's probably a little bit further behind than we want to admit, because if they're bringing in Tyler Huntley here, you definitely want a half of Tyler to take in, but you also know that maybe without the first team reps yesterday, with some of the injuries there that you've had with the quarterback position, they just believe Shedeur is still a little further behind than what we all wish he was. But I also know that Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, for that matter, even though I just went crazy on that tangent about him start week 1, because it's nuts to do. It's absolutely nuts to do. They would work their ass off to try to be a good quarterback in the NFL. The other guy didn't. The other guy is a walking punchline in so many ways.
The Huntley part of it is just that they have no plans, no designs of Joe Flacco in this game, right? Even though Bryce Young is playing. There's a whole reason Carolina didn't play him last year, and then he struggled mightily to start out. So no Flacco, and now no Pickett, no Dillon Gabriel. Those guys are all probably out.
I would imagine, because you got two guys with hamstring injuries, and Joe's 40 years old. I don't want to have it. Nothing can. I trust Joe.
They're kind of in an emergency quarterback situation for this preseason game.
They started the season with 4.
And what offensive linemen are they going to trot out there?
Well,
is Wyatt Teller going to play in this game? Is Joel Bitonio going to play in this game?
John Greco joins us at 8:02. He's still in really good shape. Zach Zentrig will play at some point there, right? Well, you seem thrilled.
What about the arm soreness of Shedeur? Is that a reason to believe he might not play in this game?